Hi, my name is Matt Creighton. This is my second year at Glendale Community College with hopes to graduate this semester with my associates in criminal justice. And today we'll be discussing the effects that racism has in the workplace. The research question I was able to come up with was, how does racism affect individuals in the workplace environment? While using this research question helped with the research purpose by focusing on the keywords like racism, workplace, and environment. The research question evolved over time with useful add-ins of contextual evidence from the sources provided. The thesis statement that I was able to come up with are some factors that can affect everyone's career growth in the workplace are color, race, religion, and how individuals were raised and interact with each other. The world will always have positive and negative work environments, and this led to the curiosity to find what factors are creating either the negative or positive outcomes. While researching, the factors I was able to find are all included in my thesis statement. These facts that support my thesis and argument, because it shows the different factors of how racism can be perceived in a workplace, but be blindsided by the majority of individuals that do not know how to approach this issue trying to be addressed. The counter arguments were a result of the counter argument comes from a source discussing that African American career aspirations are second guessed, meaning that many people are quick to assume racism strictly occurs externally, when in reality, internalized racism should be addressed. This information was particularly chosen for the counter argument because it discusses the outside effects as to what might happen due to workplace discrimination, along with adding up to the overall argument. This response should be able to inform others into what might happen in the personal side outside of work. A lot of solutions to this is that the use of language and tone is important when speaking to others, because there can be a sense of acceptance. Communication is also important when there might be conflicts at work, because individuals can hear the types of feelings and discuss what needs to be improved. And then lastly, being acknowledged is extremely important, because one will end up feeling safe, appreciated, and comfortable to discuss any problems they might be struggling with, if any. In the call to action, the problem is not accepting individuals in the workplace environment, leading individuals to be racist towards each other, etc. A solution to that would be to take the time to appreciate the workers that are in the company, make sure they are needed. If there are any questions or concerns that they have, the availability to voice these problems. Individuals, whether they're in the workplace or not, need to care about the call to action, because this can bring positive solutions as to what needs to be done moving forward. And then the rhetorical situation, the author of these cited sources have shown deep explanations about what has happened at their workplaces when it comes to racism, along with the audience reading and interacting with these stories can keep notes of how a workplace environment should and shouldn't be. The message being shared is how to work in a positive environment without racism, accepting everyone for who they are. The way these choices were made come from reading about the personal stories of racist actions in the workplace, whether it is in a business, medical, crowded, or smaller work setting. In my research reflection, what would I do differently if I were to approach the same problem again? One approach that would be different towards the same problem is possibly finding some examples and stories closer to the area that I live in and seeing if they were different outcomes. What moments was I most proud of my efforts? The moments I was most proud of was the sources that I was able to find. I believe that these sources were able to give me the proper information, especially showing that it is between both genders. What were some of the most challenging moments in what made them so. One of the most challenging moments was understanding how some of these workers are actually spoken to and the way they are treated in the workplace. Even in this time, people are still treated very, very poorly. What were some of my most powerful learning moments and what made them so? Some powerful learning moments came from mainly the personal story about the oncologist at the hospital being disrespected by the patients, as well as the African American individuals ending up using tobacco or other drugs as comfort when being mistreated at work. How will I use what I've learned in the future? I will use this in the future by keeping these examples in my mind when I'm working in different environments so I can understand the positive and negative outcomes.